All right, so I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting a little fed up with dealing with this notion or this idea that if you question any government official based upon their actions on this Wuhan COVID-19 virus, that you're somehow a denier or something of that effect. It's just ludicrous to me. I think that you can both take the virus seriously and question what's happening with a lot of our government officials and in some cases, like right here in Florida, these statewide lockdown orders and other places around the country, whether it's city, county, or what have you. Here's the deal. I take this virus seriously, and I think all of us should. I think this is a very serious virus. Speaking of the Wuhan COVID-19 virus, it's highly contagious. We know that, and we know that people can walk around with this disease that are asymptomatic, and I think we should take that seriously because we don't want to negatively impact those that may be more susceptible or vulnerable to this virus. So follow the CDC guidelines. Let's do our part as Americans. Having said that, I think that we also have to offer a little perspective over the panic. I was doing some research just this morning, and I'm looking at these unemployment numbers grow, and I'm thinking 6.6 million people across America filing for unemployment who 30 days ago were flying high as a kite on the fact that the economy was booming. They felt like they had some type of job security, and now that's just gone all of a sudden. And so I'm questioning if shutting down these shutdown orders are justified simply because we know, just using our brains, you don't have to be a doctor to use some common sense here. We know that if people are unemployed, there's going to be a lot of angst, a lot of depression, more poverty, more violence, because people are going to be home. A lot of depression. There's going to be other issues that are going to pop up as a result of this. And so we need to be asking the question, does the shutdown orders justify losing so many jobs? And we're assuming that these jobs will just come back. I'm not so sure when a lot of industries, restaurants, so on, etc., are just going to completely close. I do trust the American people and our ingenuity and entrepreneurship that a lot of new businesses will open as a result, but that doesn't change what's happening now. It doesn't change the fact that there's going to be more homelessness. It doesn't change the fact that there's going to be more violence. It doesn't change the fact that there'll probably be more sickness and disease in places if people have to be homeless and they start acting like they live on the streets of San Francisco and California. And these are things that we need to talk about. So I just want to give you some perspective. I'm not saying don't take the virus seriously, but I'm tired of being called a denier or a naysayer because I have a healthy dose of skepticism based upon the actions of the government, when as Americans we know that government will use crisis to encroach on our liberties and gain more power, more money, more fame for themselves. It's what they do. It's amazing to me in a time of crisis of how trusting people are with our politicians, and that's just not the way it should be, in my opinion. I just want to give you these numbers so that you have perspective. The swine flu, H1N1, didn't cause the stir that COVID-19 is causing today. And I'm not saying COVID-19 is just not justified, the media frenzy, but I just don't see evidence of that as of yet. So the swine flu, 2009 and 2010, a period of 1 year, 60.8 million Americans were infected with the swine flu. Approximately 12,500 people died. You look at the common flu, the regular common flu for this season so far within the United States, 2019 to 2020. So far, we've had approximately 15 million people infected, and 8,200 people have died thus far as a result of this. So swine flu, 60.8 million people infected. You have the common flu this flu season, 2019 to 2020, I'm sorry, you have 15 million people infected, 8,200 people that have died. Swine flu, 12,500 people that have died. And then we get to COVID-19. And right now, and I know these numbers will continue to grow, but we have been responsible. We have been doing the social distancing. And you get 216,952 cases of COVID-19 across the country as of now, with just over 5,100 deaths. So I just have to ask the question, 60.8 million Americans infected with the swine flu in 2009 to 2010. We didn't shut down the economy. This year, the flu season, 2019 to 2020, so far 15 million people infected. We haven't shut down the economy. COVID-19, I understand the asymptomatic issue, the fact that it's very contagious, is scaring us, but is it worth shutting down the economy when so far we're looking at 216,000 people infected? I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I do think that we have to start asking ourselves the proper questions and whether it's worth destroying people's lives. 6.6 million people filing for unemployment in just a couple of weeks matter of time, over 216,952 people infected. I think we have to start pushing back a little bit and just start asking some questions of our government officials. If we're taking these drastic measures, is there something we don't know, or are you guys just trying to gain a little more power? It's time to start thinking, America.